What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to more Xbox news. Obviously, Xbox, it can kind of go up and down in the news cycle, but I would say this week has been a pretty good week for Xbox, and we're going to talk a little bit about here, obviously, with the first one being the title of this video, Xbox Game Pass or PC Game Pass coming to Linux. So to talk a little bit more about this, basically this new open source project that is coming out called Xodus is being spearheaded by the developers of Heroic Games Launcher. This is going to make it so you can play your PC Xbox games on Linux, which means your Steam Deck, your Steam machine, or whatever personal Linux build that you have, which is pretty cool to see. I will say this has been something I've been dreaming about since I've gotten my Steam Deck. I love my Steam Deck with all my heart, but obviously I also play a lot of games on my Xbox. So when I play my Steam Deck and I want to play some Xbox games, like recently I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I got to play it through the cloud on my Steam Deck. Now, quite honestly, I don't think it's really that bad. I know some people have mixed things about Xbox cloud gaming. For me, I think cloud gaming works really well, especially when I'm home. I don't really notice the latency at all. It's very, very minor. And if you're playing games like a Final Fantasy VII, or I was playing Kingdom Hearts and things like that, you don't really notice it as much. Obviously, when you're doing your first-person shooters and whatnot, like you're gonna feel that little bit of lag. But if you're just kind of playing a third-person game, it feels pretty good. But with this new potential project on the horizon, I may not need to do that anymore. And that's really great to see. So they said Xodus bypasses Microsoft's proprietary game development kit runtime and encrypted MSIXVC packages to run modern Xbox ecosystem titles locally on Linux, SteamOS, and macOS, which I also thought was kind of interesting as somebody who has a MacBook as well. I mean, I can now play some of my Xbox Play Anywhere games on there also, and my Game Pass games. So they wanted to highlight that they've hit some pretty major technical milestones that have been achieved by the team, like being able to authenticate your Xbox Live authentication, as well as download games. But they wanted to highlight that this is still very much a work in progress. They're prioritizing games that are on Game Pass and Play Anywhere first before they start diving deeper into other games within the Xbox library. Obviously, this is going to be the big thing, is getting the games running. I think, not to say that the first part wasn't hard and easy, but like now we're getting to the meat and the potatoes of things of like, let's get these games running on Linux, and that's where it gets a little tough. Obviously, this is something that Valve has been working on in the background with Proton for like over a decade, but hopefully with whoever the guy is who's managing this, which apologize for not remembering her name, but I thought he's done an amazing job with the Heroic Games Launcher. The Heroic Games Launcher is something that I use all the time. I have a decent amount of games on GOG as well as Epic, and I can play some of those, and I play a lot of games like I played Uncharted on there. I have Tomb Raider on Epic, so being able to play those games on my Steam Deck, it just feels super seamless. You pretty much just open the app, add to Steam, and boom, it's there. And hopefully he can provide some sort of user interface that is similar to that in the ease of use that we see from the Heroic Games Launcher with the Xbox Game Pass app, Xodus. So if that can happen, my dream will literally come true, because I've been this close to installing Windows on my Steam Deck, but I just really, really don't want to, and I end up just opting out of it and just doing cloud. But yeah, it's really cool to see that they're prioritizing games that are Play Anywhere, because obviously, like, usually if you're going to do that, you're going to play the games that are Play Anywhere, and obviously anything on Game Pass. The one interesting fact about this is that obviously Game Pass is now starting to introduce its emulation layer into its Xbox app. So being able to play Crimson Sky, Conquers, which I mentioned in my previous video. So this might mean we might be able to play Xbox emulation through this app. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So you're pretty much going through so many layers of translations to play a game that was on our original Xbox, which is pretty crazy to think. I mean, this original Xbox game being emulated on an Xbox 360 emulator, which that Xbox 360 emulator is being emulated on a PC, which is then also being, I don't know if it's necessarily emulation, but like also being ran through a translation layer on Linux. So there's so many different layers. So I hope it performs well. But it's pretty cool to see that this is finally starting to happen. It's kind of another win for Linux, because now if you get to this point, you're not really missing much outside of the anti-cheat. But yeah, let me know. Are you going to plan on doing this once this app comes out? If you're an Xbox fan and you have some games on the Xbox app, do you want to play those? Now you'll be able to, which is really cool to see. Now to move on to my second topic. Recently it was kind of announced by Asha Sharma, not really announced, but discussed in some memos and things like that, and other interviews and things that come out, that obviously we all knew that Xbox, one of the big points that Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer did at the end of their tenure was talking about how with the next Xbox and Project Helix, they want to make it an all-encompassing PC and allow you to access other Gamefront stores like your Epic Games and your GOGs and your Steams on your Xbox. Well, recently it came out during recent leadership updates and strategic debates under Xbox CEO Asha Sharma regarding hardware subsidization, pricing constraints, and maintaining a unified Microsoft-centric store experience without bundling competing stores like Steam. So basically what they're saying is, hey, look, we want to rebuild the brand of Xbox, which means we cannot have other game stores on here. If you want to have a successful console business, you need to be able to sell games on your console. And then if you think about it, maybe Epic Game Stores would give you a cut of some of those games in there, but Steam's definitely not. Steam has no incentive to give Xbox any sort of cut. People are going to buy on Steam anyways. So why would they go ahead and do that? So to me, as a consumer, I thought this was a really consumer-friendly approach because this is awesome. As somebody who has a decent Xbox library as well as a Steam library, the idea of being able to bring them all together and bridge them all together into one console without having to buy a Steam machine or build a custom PC and have an Xbox, because I haven't gotten a Steam machine yet, and I don't know if I will with the prices, but if I wanted to play my Steam machine on the couch like I do with my Xbox and play some of those Steam games, I would need to buy that. So this would eliminate the need for me to do that. But obviously from a business perspective, and if you look at it from Microsoft's perspective, it doesn't really make a ton of sense. Like, why would we allow other stores, the main revenue source of our console business, which is selling video games through our store, or basically allowing competitors to come in here and pretty much take a share of that revenue? It never really made sense. Now, I don't know how that's going to work when we get into this hybrid PC aspect of it. Maybe people will be able to hack it and allow other storefronts in there. I'm really curious to see how they lock that down, because that's going to kind of make things a little interesting. But if you really think about it, it never really made sense. So as much as it kind of like pains me to see that, I'd rather see Xbox to be successful and continue to grow and kind of regarnish some of that aura, for lack of a better word, that they had back in the 360 days, which we all know and love. Now for the third topic today I kind of want to talk about is Gears of War E-Day open beta is out, boys, and it is awesome. I've been loving it. I've been having a blast. I've been like playing mostly Horde Siege mode. I played a little bit of Versus. I played a few games here and there. I did okay, but quite honestly, I don't really play a lot of Gears multiplayer, and I always kind of sucked at it. So I'm not gonna lie to you. It's one of those games that just has a pretty high skill gap. But I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna work on it this E-Day game, and let's get better and see if we can compete and potentially go into the ranked mode. But I know I got a long way to go, because Gears is just one of those games you can't really like hop in and just kind of do well. You're always going to kind of get smoked by players who've just been playing this game for the past 20 years at this point. So obviously we're now entering the open beta. The open beta is now live if you're watching this video. I played the early access beta last week, so this one's been pretty awesome. Obviously, like I said, they have the 4v4 competitive mode. I think they have like 3 different modes. They've also been playing the Horde Siege mode, which is a 12-player cooperative PvE mode. And like I said, I've been loving that game mode. I can't wait to play more maps on it. It's just been a blast to play. Just so many epic moments. It reminds me a lot of Helldivers in a lot of ways. And you can tell that they took that idea and said like, hey, we can do this with Gears. We kind of have the same vibe. Let's add and iterate on this idea and make it better. And they really have. It's like this game is just constant action. There's countless little side objectives you can do. And there's so many moments like when your team is struggling and it's down and you're down to one guy, and then maybe that one guy then goes down. Then you have another squad that comes rolling in, and the cavalry comes in, and you all get up, all 80 y'all are going after it, and then maybe a third team comes in and you're in this invasion event, and it's just epic. And there's so many sounds. I was literally playing the other day, and it was one of the best experiences I had so far playing E-Day Horde Siege. I was playing with a buddy of mine, and we had 2 randoms on our team. 2 randoms basically ran off and just did their own thing, which quite honestly, I haven't seen that very often. This is one of the few times where this did happen. Basically, they ended up leaving. They turned into bots. The bots are terrible, by the way. Like, they need to buff those bots and make it better. But me and my buddy were struggling on this side mission that's about destroying a high-value target. And we're barely down. The clock is running down. We have 30 seconds. My boy's down. I'm still alive. I'm struggling. I'm barely holding on. We're not gonna get it. And then what do you know? 2 seconds later, a whole squad of another team comes in and just completely helps us out, like tears apart the high value target. I res my boy, we help them out, and then literally it's counting down like 10, 9, 8, 7. We kill the thing off with 2 seconds left, and like that moment right there was just so freaking epic. They drop a supply drop right there. It was an awesome moment, and I think there's just more to come. And obviously as they expand into this game mode and they add more things, it's just going to be really fun. I really see a world where this might be the main thing when it comes to Gears. Obviously when you think about Gears, you think of the campaign, you think of the multiplayer, and like, yeah, there's a fun horde mode, you know, it is what it is. It's just a little side mode. I think they have now positioned themselves where they really want this horde mode to be the thing. I think we all kind of know that team versus team PvP 4v4 stuff, while there is a crowd for it still, it is kind of peaked. It's not going to hit that same level that it once did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that I think now we have entered a world of these different types of game modes with the wars of the battle royales and the extraction modes and something like that. But I do think there is a space for them to fit in this PvE space where that we saw Helldivers just be immensely successful in, and still is if you really think about it. And I think this is now, Gears is probably going to set themselves up to be one of the main competitors in this space, because quite honestly, I don't know if they're necessarily going to compete on that level of, you know, your Call of Duties, your Counter Strikes and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to reach those heights that they did back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. But I think where they really can like grab a hold of that like fan base is within that PvE mode. And who knows, maybe they do a combined PvE PvP mode that's like an extraction. I mean, we could potentially see that. Everybody wants to do it nowadays, so I wouldn't be terribly surprised. At this point, they already got the bones, they got the maps, they got the UI. Throw a couple PvP players in there and it's already there for you. So yeah, like I said, I've been having a blast with E-Day. If you guys have been playing E-Day, let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. I think it's been awesome. It's really cool to see Xbox finally get a win in the video game space that doesn't just feel like, it feels like every game over the past like 5 years from Xbox has just been like, I mean, even with Campaign Evolved, it felt like it came out and then it went away. But I feel like this amount of hype rolling into it reminds me a lot of Battlefield 6 of last year, where everybody was hyped about it. The betas were good. Like everybody's just super pumped about what's to come with this game. And I think Gears is kind of falling into place, especially since it's been so long since there's been a good Gears. And if you really look at between Gears and Battlefield, there's a lot of parallels if you look at that. Both franchises have been down pretty bad over their past 2 iterations not being great, and now this one finally going back to its roots and winning the fan base back. Battlefield 6, you had 2042 and you had a Battlefield 5 that were both duds, and you almost lost the franchise and thought about canning it for a while. Gears 5 was not really beloved. Gears 4 people didn't really like. So now you're getting back to what people loved about Gears. So it seems like they're both following that same trajectory. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyways, I'll leave it off here. And yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Peace out, everybody.